David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the breaking news: severe storms hitting now. Drivers rescued from cars, a major flash flood emergency, and up to 20 inches of rain still possible. Several days of this. Cars swept away, dramatic water rescues tonight, drivers pulled from their vehicles, stranded campers on rooftops, structures floating away. Also, the fires tonight, evacuations, campers told to get out because of the fires. And tonight, more than 140 million Americans under extreme heat alerts. New York City, 100 degrees tomorrow. Philadelphia, 101. Washington, D.C., 102. And those are actual temperatures before you factor in humidity. Ginger Z is here tonight. Also breaking tonight, the new video here after ICE agents shot and killed a man in Maine. The new images, that car seen circling after the man was shot. Those agents not wearing body cameras. Tonight, Homeland Security ordering ICE agents to suspend nearly all traffic stops. Tonight, President Trump's about face after saying the U.S. would charge ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Tonight, he says he won't. The U.S. launching new attacks on Iran. Tonight, the dramatic images just released, a police helicopter at night, and the suspects allegedly firing off fireworks from their car at other drivers on I-95, and you'll see it. Tonight, that terrifying video seen by millions, the grandfather attacked by a charging bison. What that grandfather is now saying tonight about this. Tonight, the intestinal illness sweeping much of the country, thousands coming down with it. Well, tonight, the popular fast food chain voluntarily removing some items as a precaution, and what authorities are warning Americans to look out for. Tonight, the miracle on the Hudson pilot, Captain Sully Sullenberger, revealing his deeply personal health battle, what he's saying. Tonight, the Jurassic Park star Sam Neill and what a former co-star is now reportedly revealing about his health just before his death. And the World Cup showdown and the shocker late today.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It is great to have you with us here at a very busy Tuesday night. We begin tonight with the breaking news. These urgent rescues underway from fast-moving, dangerous floodwaters. Severe storms and life-threatening heat across the country tonight. Torrential rains triggering a major flash flood threat in Texas at this hour. Up to 20 inches of rain still coming across much of that region, already getting hit. Dramatic water rescues in Texas and Arizona. Firefighters using a ladder truck to pull a driver from a car surrounded by water. In Missouri tonight, stranded campers on a rooftop, nearby structures collapsing in the rushing waters. And tonight, the fires, hundreds of wildfires burning in the U.S. Families, campers in Minnesota evacuated from a forest because of multiple fires now burning. And tonight, the life-threatening heat. More than 140 million Americans across the country under extreme heat alerts at this hour. New York City set to hit 100 degrees tomorrow. That's the actual temperature. Philadelphia, 101. Washington, D.C., 102. Before you add in humidity. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z leading us off tonight with those rescues and the forecast.
The National Weather Service issuing its highest level of warning for life-threatening flash flooding for parts of Texas. In Texas Hill Country, some have already had a foot of rain, and it's still coming down. Outside San Antonio, sheets of rain turned roads to rivers in Hondo, Texas, before the sun even came up. Vehicles carried downstream in Uvalde. The situation getting worse by the minute. High water rescue vehicles tending to this Audi stranded in rapids on Highway 90 after the driver was saved.
You all right?
Near Sabinal, Texas, David Flores in neck-deep water, calling out for a man named Nathan.
Nathan.
Finding him clinging to a tree, both men able to get to safety. This same region, Hill Country, was hit by those devastating and deadly floods that swept through Camp Mystic for girls and other communities last 4th of July. Flooding from Texas to the monsoon rains flooding parts of Tucson, Arizona, where just after midnight, firefighters used a ladder truck to save the driver of this Volkswagen Beetle that got caught in rushing water. And tonight, new video shows a terrifying scene over the weekend in the Ozarks. Campers stranded on the roof of a building, helplessly watching as structures around them are swept away by floodwater. Thankfully, all of the campers were rescued. The storms riding around a scorching summer heat dome that is baking most of the country. Minnesota dealing with heat indices over 100 degrees and more than a dozen wildfires. Mandatory evacuations in Lake County for people near the campfire. The National Forest Service in Minnesota closing down access to the million-acre Boundary Waters Canoe Wilderness area. Teams on canoes warning campers to get out as winds shifted.
Those are the pictures from across this country tonight. Let's get right back to Ginger with us again tonight in the forecast. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. We've already seen more than 10 inches of rain in some parts of Texas Hill Country, and an additional up to 20 inches is possible in the next 48 hours. So you can see that rare high risk on the map there. It includes Uvalde, but from San Antonio up to Austin and west of that I-35 corridor, that's where the next 2 days we've got that level 3 out of 4 for significant flash flooding. It will come in rounds. It will be heavy, meaning 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates, and anybody in the flood watch from College Station back on west could end up with an additional 10+ inches. Also, we have to talk about the heat. Those extreme heat warnings go from Los Angeles to Minneapolis to Philadelphia. Yes, we will have our second 100 possible here in New York City, and Washington, D.C. above that, as you mentioned, David, even hotter when you factor in humidity.
Look out for our neighbors all over again. Here we go. Ginger Z, thanks. We'll see you first thing in the morning. There is yet another developing story as we're on the air tonight. Here's Melissa Adan.
Tonight, the harrowing scene, a boat packed with people sinking off San Francisco's infamous Alcatraz Island, sparking an urgent rescue mission. At least one person confirmed killed.
It looks like multiple people are in the water, 2 to 3 unconscious. People are trapped in the boat.
The Coast Guard rushing to rescue people from the water. As many as 19 people were on board.
At this current time, we have 13 who are on the shore and safe. We have 3 others who have been transported to California Pacific Hospital on Van Ness. We have 2 missing at this time. We are still conducting an active search of the area. We have 11 vessels on the water conducting that search. We are going to continue for hours to make sure that we find these 2 missing people if possible.
The boat is completely submerged, wreckage floating nearby. Rescue teams on boats and jet skis speeding to the scene, helicopters overhead.
Location is Alcatraz Island, restaurant at Gas House Cove, on a fireboat with multiple victims. This is a red alert.
Firefighters receiving a call about a pontoon pleasure boat in distress just after 3:30. On the shore, survivors wrapped in towels receiving medical treatment. Late tonight, officials say 2 people remain missing.
This is an all hands on deck search and hopefully rescue. And you all have done some extraordinary work in the last 90 minutes. There is much more work to be done.
David, an urgent investigation is now underway as to what caused that boat to sink in the San Francisco Bay. David?
Melissa, thanks. Also breaking tonight, the new video right here after ICE agents shot and killed a man in Biddeford, Maine. The new images of that car as it was seen circling after the man was shot. Those agents not wearing body cameras. Tonight, Homeland Security ordering ICE agents to suspend nearly all traffic stops. ABC's Victor Oquendo in Maine tonight.
Tonight, new images of that deadly ICE shooting in Maine. The car slowly going in circles as agents chase it and finally stop it with their SUV, then pull the driver from the car. Those agents not wearing body cameras. It was the second time in a week that ICE killed a person who was not the target they were pursuing. And now DHS is ordering a pause for most vehicle stops. Sources tell ABC News ICE officers will get new training. Border Czar Tom Homan says the pause will be short.
I wouldn't call it bumping the road. I mean, this is going to be a short-term review. So ICE feels comfortable that their agents are safe, they're doing the right thing, and get back to, doing what they do best.
But it comes as hundreds in Maine protested the killing of 26-year-old Johann Sebastian Guerrero from Colombia.
Yesterday morning, they executed Johann Sebastian Guerrero in the streets of Biddeford in front of his 3-year-old daughter.
Daniel Boucher says he watched Guerrero die and saw his heartbroken family.
How hard was all of this to watch?
It was very hard. And his girlfriend or his wife, I don't know, I thought it might have been his sister maybe, was across the street, hysterical.
An ICE spokesman says when law enforcement tried to make the stop, the vehicle attempted to flee the scene, and fearing for public safety, an officer discharged his weapon. Maine Senator Angus King says he was told Guerrero was never the target of their operation. DHS says he entered the country illegally, but was authorized to work here.
I mean, this is a young father, he is like any of the rest of us, and he was just on his way to work.
Here in Maine, a growing memorial for Guerrero. Tonight we're learning that the officer involved in the deadly shooting was a law enforcement officer with the Department of Veteran Affairs since 2017. But according to multiple sources, he was new to ICE. David?
Victor Oquendo live in Maine tonight. Victor, thank you. We turn now to the U.S. and Iran. Tonight, President Trump's about face. After saying the U.S. would charge ships in the Strait of Hormuz, tonight he says that won't happen. Here's Mary Bruce.
Tonight, an abrupt reversal from President Trump, backing off his plans to charge a 20% protection fee for cargo passing through the Strait of Hormuz. Trump announced the plan just 24 hours ago.
We're going to guard it. We're going to get paid for guarding it. A lot of money.
Trump contradicting what his own Secretary of State said just last month.
No country is allowed to charge tolls or fees on an international waterway.
And today, from the president, a full about face.
I don't think anybody should be able to charge a fee for the Strait.
Trump changing his tune after oil prices soared and American Gulf allies called to complain.
Kings and emirs and all of the people that we all know and we all love, and they said we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars.
No details on any commitments, but tonight one thing is clear: the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Iran firing on multiple cargo ships and on American allies in the region. CENTCOM saying U.S. forces are now bombarding Iran, quote, degrading Iranian capabilities used to attack commercial shipping in the strait.
And David, we saw gas prices jump yesterday after the president announced those fees. But the bottom line, David, economists say until the strait is open and those ships start moving again, we probably won't see gas prices coming down in a real way. David.
Mary Bruce with us again tonight here. Mary, thank you. Tonight, the dramatic images just released of a dangerous scene on I-95, a police helicopter at night, and the suspects allegedly firing off fireworks from their car at other drivers on I-95 in Florida. Here's Gio Benitez with the pictures tonight.
Tonight, dramatic video showing fireworks being launched from a car window on busy I-95 in northern Florida.
They appear to be shooting fireworks out of the window at cars on the interstate.
A police helicopter capturing the scene back on July 4th using night vision.
Got it on camera, but it looked like it was mortar style. It looked like one of them even bounced off the ground the opposite lane of traffic.
Deputies on the ground pulling over the suspected vehicle.
Report driver is this vehicle was seen launching fireworks out of the passenger side of the vehicle.
But deputies informing the people inside that vehicle that they were caught on camera from above.
Did you see that little flashy dot? Yeah, is this wrong? No, that's a helicopter who's been following you for the past 10 miles. Shoot stuff out the car.
The passenger of the vehicle then placed under arrest. And David, tonight authorities say that passenger has been charged with shooting a deadly missile from a moving vehicle. David?
Following them for 10 miles. Gio Benitez tonight. Gio, thanks. Now to that terrifying video seen by millions, the grandfather attacked by a charging bison at Yellowstone. Well, tonight here, what that grandfather is now saying. Here's Trevor Alt.
Tonight, the 65-year-old grandfather seen in these terrifying images viewed by millions, tossed into the air by a bison, is now breaking his silence about that heart-pounding encounter. Carl McDaniel tells CNN he and his 13-year-old grandson travel to Yellowstone National Park every year. On Friday, they saw that bison about 100 yards away. They stopped to take a photo of that massive animal.
They were plenty far away, in my opinion.
But the bison charged toward them. The grandfather telling CNN, quote, he could be to us in seconds. So I told my grandson to run in one direction and I went the other to try and draw him away. After circling the tree, McDaniel was flung 8 feet in the air, landing on the ground, unable to move. That bison, which can weigh up to 2,000 pounds, standing over him. He says, quote, he could have stomped on me. He could have gored me. He could have done almost anything to take my life, and he did not do so.
He was in a lot of pain, and he was trying to not move his leg.
That grandfather was rushed to the hospital, his leg broken in 4 places. He's now recovering from surgery and can stand, but he'll need physical therapy to heal.
David, that grandfather says the other campers jumped in immediately to help him. He's thankful this wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, and also that his grandson wasn't hurt. David?
We're glad they're all okay. Trevor, thank you. Now to that intestinal illness sweeping much of the country, thousands coming down with it. Well, tonight, the popular fast food chain voluntarily removing some items as a precaution. Here's Stephanie Ramos.
Tonight, Taco Bell saying they have voluntarily removed some ingredients at select locations as the foodborne parasite cyclosporiasis rapidly spreads across the U.S. The company stating public health officials have not confirmed a link to Taco Bell or any specific ingredient, supplier, restaurant, or retailer, adding they will closely monitor the situation. State health officials say there have been more than 600 new cases of cyclosporiasis in Michigan alone since yesterday. Health officials now pointing to lettuce as a possible source of the outbreak in that state.
We're continuing our traceback investigation on multiple produce items, including the lettuce.
The CDC confirming cases in 34 states. Today, warning that cases in Michigan, West Virginia, Kentucky, and Ohio seem to have a similar source. The parasite spread through contaminated food or water can cause severe digestive issues, including diarrhea. Symptoms usually begin about 1 week after becoming infected.
It was really bad. There were moments where I was literally just camped out in the bathroom and I don't care, I'm just going to lay on this floor.
David, the CDC is telling doctors to stay alert. Health officials say thoroughly washing your fruits and vegetables, even if they're labeled pre-washed, is an important step in preventing illness. David.
Good advice. Sounds awful. Stephanie Ramos tonight. Thanks, Steph. Tonight, news on slowing inflation in this country. The Bureau of Labor Statistics saying inflation slowed more than expected last month, falling from 4.2 to 3.5%. Energy prices, the biggest reason for the decrease. Food prices up 3% over last year. When we come back tonight, news on the actor from Jurassic Park tonight, what he was reportedly battling before his death. Also, the rescue here, the dramatic nighttime effort at sea. You'll see it just as a catamaran was going down. Also tonight, look at this, the close encounter with a grizzly bear on a steep and narrow path. The miracle on the Hudson pilot, Captain Sully Sullenberger, revealing his deeply personal health battle tonight, what he's saying right after the break. And then the World Cup showdown, that shocker late today. I'll be right back. Tonight, the dramatic nighttime rescue of a man on board a catamaran as it sinks off the coast of Hawaii. Officials say the vessel's steering malfunctioned while sailing from Oahu to Kauai. A rescuer dropping down from a helicopter there as the boat sinks below the water. That man lifted to safety in a basket. Tonight, the deeply personal announcement from the miracle on the Hudson pilot, Captain Sully Sullenberger, revealing he's battling Alzheimer's. Nearly 17 years ago now, Captain Sully successfully landing that U.S. Airways jet on the Hudson after losing both engines during a bird strike, saving all 155 people on board. Tonight, at age 75, going public with his early diagnosis, he says, to help other families living in the shadow of this disease. When we come back tonight, what Jurassic Park actor Sam Neill was reportedly battling before his death, and then the stunner late today at the World Cup. To the index of other news tonight, a scare for hikers confronted by a grizzly bear in Adan Creek, Alaska. That bear approaching on a steep and narrow trail, the group struggling to climb out of its way. The bear finally running past them. Rangers had warned the hikers they might see bears. In fact, this one has been named Scuba Sue, apparently because she dives underwater to fish. Tonight, here's some new details after the death of Jurassic Park actor Sam Neill. Word on his health in his final days. Fellow New Zealand actor and co-star Rima Tiwiata reportedly saying Sam Neill was sick with pneumonia. The beloved 78-year-old actor died suddenly yesterday. His family said he was cancer-free in the end. When we come back tonight, that World Cup shocker late today. In a moment here. Finally tonight here, the World Cup shocker late today. And here's Rhiannon Alley tonight. Rhiannon?
David, this was a thrilling game to watch. Both teams pouring their heart and soul into this. But in the end, it was Spain defeating France 2-0 at AT&T Stadium in Texas. Spain scoring early in the game. The second half saw more French pressure, but Spain never panicked as they doubled their lead. And despite a flurry of French shots in the final minutes, they just could not break through. Spain advances to its second ever World Cup final. The last time they made it was 2010 when they won it all. Spain will face the winner of tomorrow's semifinal, Argentina or England. And watch parties across the country like this one in Brooklyn will be packed with people watching. David?
All right, Rhiannon Alley tonight. Rhiannon, thanks so much. Now all eyes on who wins tomorrow. And I'm David Muir. I'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Good night.
David Muir, the most trusted, most watched newscast in America. And now, World News Tonight has won the Emmy for Best Live News Program for the 4th year in a row.